Hello and good afternoon, everyone. This is Mai speaking. Welcome to today's webinar, our Wellness Friday. Our topic today is Mastering Public Speaking. Now, I'm sure all of you are really excited to learn tips and tricks on how you can have a very well-structured public speaking. And we are delighted to have with us Damini Jewel. Damini has over 15 years of experience in public speaking, training and HR. She has managed major business events, handled PR for electoral parties, and worked with political figures like Atishi Marlena and Adityanath Yogi. Her expertise includes preparing communication scripts, hosting as an anchor, and writing speeches for public events. A very warm welcome to you, Damini.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you very much for this beautiful introduction. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. I know you all can't speak here, but yes, hi to each and everyone present here at this webinar. Welcome to this session. I hope at the end of the session, you're going to be learning a lot of things all together. And we'll be sharing few information. I'll be also learning from you, and you guys will be learning few tips and tricks from me as well. Thank you, Maya. If you allow, Maya, can I just start the session?
Yes, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So before I share my screen and before we know each other, let me tell you a few more important things which I have been doing. So like Maya said, I have been a public speaker since last 15 years. And more than that, I have been on stage for almost 23 years now. When I was in 6th class itself, I started performing on stage. So maybe because of that, I've learned a lot of things practically. And that's what I'll be sharing on this webinar today. This will be an interactive session. So what I request you all is to be active on chat so that we all can interact with each other and we all can learn few things from each other. So I'm going to be asking few questions and I hope everyone will reply on the chat. I can go through it and I would love to answer all the queries, whatever you have in your head. Let's start the session. I'm sharing the screen and then we will have a lot of conversation on together. So before I start, I want to tell you a small story. It's like a person was passing through the forest. He saw few elephants were being tied with the help of just a thin rope. He was shocked. He was confused that how is it possible to make such a strong animal being tied down with just the help of a small thin rope. He was in this dilemma and he saw a man passing by. He asked the same question. That man answered with a sweet smile on his face that when these elephants were kids, they were tied with this rope only. And because of this, elephant thinks that they can't break the rope and they will never be able to free themselves from this rope. And they are stuck there throughout their life. So the moral of the story here is it's all in your head. If something you feel that you are being tied down, it's just a small thin rope which is tying you. It's in your head. So you have to just break it out and you have to move forward. So speaking skills comes like this only. It's more of a game of your head than your communication. If you are clear in your head, automatically your words will come out properly in an aligned manner. So now here formally I'm starting my session so that you all can see my screen, learn few things and hope you're gonna enjoy. I've prepared a small PPT for you all so that a basic information can be shared in this session. You all can understand what's going on and how to be a good speaker, a good public speaker. It can be for 10 people, it can be for 1,000 people sitting in front of you. So I've just prepared a small PPT to give you an idea. This is a topic here. To connect with you all, I have used my picture here by addressing the audience so that we can connect with the topic, that's unleash your inner speaker, or if I say it correctly, public speaking skills. Now, if you see, I have used a word called adventurous. That's a single word which I want to use it for my own self. I describe myself as adventurous because I like taking new challenges. So this is the first activity which we're going to be starting this whole webinar. So I request you all to please use one single word which will help you in defining your own self with a one-line description. So I'm waiting for it on chat. If Satish is there, if Maya is there, I request you all to please put this question on the chat itself so that everyone can answer it. Describe yourself in one word. So I've put in this question. I can see hands here. Calm. Okay. I'll stop sharing so that I can see all the answers which you are sending me here. Fun, leader, value creator, energetic, humble, passionate, ambitious, serious, creative, active, courageous, creative. I can see a lot of creative word has been used here. Aggressive, okay. Confident, explorer, dedicated, sincere. And everyone is requested to keep this single word with you because we're going to be using this word at the end of the webinar. We are trying to connect the starting and the end of this whole session. So this word will help us in creating something really powerful at the end of the session. So please remember that what all words you're using for your own self. Positive, cool, I can see adaptive, overthinker. Oh, nice. I can see a lot of answers being answered here. Calm and sensitive. These are two words, sir. Vijendra sir, there are two words. Kindly help me with one single word. Dedicative, emotional, cool, explorer. Yes, I can see a lot of answers being answered here. So I'll take a break and we'll start again. Keep answering, keep posting your answers so that we can use it at the end of the session. So this is the way. When we talk about being a good speaker, there are 2-3 ways in which you connect with the audience. I used a story, then I put in a single open question for everyone. So whenever you are with your audience, and if you really want to be a good public speaker, so learn this skill that whenever you are starting your session, it has to be a bit powerful. You can use stories, you can use questions, open-end questions, you can use some quotations, and through this, you connect with the audience in a different manner. So now I am comfortable, you guys are also comfortable because you're answering me. So it's a two-way communication which we are doing. So for a public speaker, a very good public speaker, it's very important to connect with the audience. And these are the few tips which will help you in connecting with the audience in a much better manner. Listener dedicated, yes, nice. Thank you very much. Thank you for being an active participant here. We're going to be using all such informations in few minutes. So this is the activity which we did. Describe yourself in a single word, which you are already answered. We're going to be using this information in few minutes. Now let's talk about communication. Why is it really important to have a good communication skill? First of all, let's understand what is communication. If I am saying something and you are not understanding, that means there is a barrier in our communication. And communication mostly works in a two-way communication. If you're doing it single way, for a public speaker, it always works in a two-way communication. Because if you are speaking, your audience has to address it. Maybe they're nodding, maybe they're answering like you guys. So this way you get the feedback that people are actually communicating with you. Not verbally, but at least non-verbally. Right now I can't see you, but you are doing a written communication, which helps me in understanding that you guys are listening to me and understanding what I'm trying to deliver here. So why is it important? To make a good connection with the person, to share the information properly, and to give the information accurately and quickly. These are the few important sections which has to be taken care of while having a good communication skill. There are 3 sections which we will be covering, that is verbal, non-verbal, and written. Usually people say that when we are a public speaker, we have to focus on just verbal and non-verbal. But frankly, we'll be using all 3 skills altogether. Because whenever you are preparing a script, you are using the written communication at that time as well. So technically, for a public speaker, all three skills, verbal, non-verbal, and written communication, all three plays an important role. And we're going to be focusing on all three important aspects properly. Each and every properly, 33% of all of them. So that's what we're going to be focusing here. Now let's talk about the difference between a good speaker and just a speaker. Is there anyone who can answer this question? Difference between a good speaker and just a speaker. Anyone can answer it. Whatever you feel like, you can type it here, and I'm reading the chats here. A difference between a good speaker and just a speaker. Okay. Good speaker is also an active listener. Very nice. Good speaker tries to get answer from the audience. Very nice. Influence audience. No one sleeps. Good speaker create enact. Oh, I'm so sorry, I missed it. Keeps audience engaged. Very nice. Perfect. I can see a lot of responses here. So I'll tell you a basic difference between a good speaker and just a speaker. If I would have been just a speaker, you guys would have been sleeping. If I'm speaking something where the audience is actually understanding, that means you are a good speaker. So being a good speaker is not that hard. You have to just connect with the audience. You can connect through different ways with the audience. First of all, like the way you are saying, it has to be more interactive. The good speaker takes opinion. They take answers from the people. Good speaker takes two-way communication, like the way we discussed. Impactful communication has been used. They influence, they persuade, they motivate, they inspire. A good speaker always plays a role of a good leader. And for being a good speaker, listening skill plays an important role. It's famously said that when you listen, you learn. So just listen to this particular thing, that when you listen, you learn. And when you speak, you apply. So that's the same thing with a good speaker. If you are listening, you are understanding and taking all the information with you. And when you are speaking, it has to be so much impactful that you are sharing all the information and applying whatever you have listened at that particular time. So good speaker plays such an important role here. Okay, let's go back to this session. Now, next is verbal communication. Because when we talk about being a good speaker, whatever you are learning, whatever written communication, you are reading books, you are reading newspapers, you are taking information from WhatsApp, Google, Wikipedia, you are taking all the informations all together. Then you are noting down on paper by making a good script. Through non-verbal communication, you are interacting with your body language. And the most important section here is verbal communication. Because being a good speaker, you need to speak out whatever you have been reading, whatever you have been learning. So verbal communication has few important aspects which has been mentioned on the screen right now. So first of all, let's talk about words. Whenever we talk about verbal communication, if I start my session in an informal manner, it won't apply here because you all are from the professional background. So first of all, what is needed? You need to understand the audience type, and then the choice of words shall follow that. If you're not using correct words according to the audience, you will never be able to make an impression. That says no, first impression is the last impression. So maybe your first impression will not be that impactful. So your choice of words has to be very powerful, very impactful. The other one is pitch. So if I start speaking and shouting at the top of my voice, you will feel disconnected. Or if I don't speak loud and clearly, or I'm not using my pitch and tone properly, that will create a breakage in my speech. So for a good speaker, it's very important to use your pitch and tone. Understand what's actually important. If I'm asking, please answer the question, that's the way you get motivated. If I say, answer the question, that's not a way. So you need to understand the pitch and tone plays an important role while speaking something, using the words and delivering the speech. The power of words. So what is the power of words? If I say, hi everyone, how are you? I'm your anchor Damini Juyal and welcome to my program. So that's the energy which I'm using. I'm just using simple words, but still I'm delivering it properly. If I would have been using some informal word, it doesn't work here with this kind of audience. So the power of words plays an important role here. Apart from that, in verbal communication, we have few important aspects which has been mentioned in this left-hand side image. So listening skills, like the way you all mentioned. Perfect. I can see a lot of questions here. How can I enhance my power, word power? Okay, I'll help you. There is an application called Kahoot. Maybe you must be using it as well. So Kahoot has a separate section where you get a lot of questions. Apart from that, you can try some games on like Play Store. There are few games which helps you in learning new word every day. So this is how you will get the words, and that's how you're going to be using it. So you can enhance your word power like this. So let's talk about verbal communication again. I'll be taking questions at the end of the session. I've given like 15 minutes so that I can answer all the questions, whatever you have. Whenever you are delivering something, whenever you are delivering a speech in front of the audience, a larger or a smaller audience, it doesn't really matter. But your voice modulation plays a very important role because it doesn't create a monotonous feel. It doesn't make the person feel that they can't connect with you. And voice modulation helps you in taking the attention from the audience as well. So I'm sharing few tips here which will help you in improving your voice modulation. Apart from that, you can practice intonations as well. In this way, you will get a lot of options of playing around with words by playing around with your voices. So that's what you can do here. So few tips here on screen is like be loud and clear. Whenever you are talking to an audience, it's very important to be loud and clear so that your message, your overall speech should be properly audible. So when they can hear you properly, they will automatically connect with you. Another is practice variations. How do you do it? Let's talk about practicing variation because I get a lot of question on this. So we have few intonations here. If I tell you about how are you? So I can say it like, how are you? How are you? So I have played it in 3 different modes. So whenever we talk about voice modulation, try to play with one single line in different mode. That will help you in improving your voice modulation each and every day. Next is stress on powerful words. What are the powerful words? Determination, motivation. You are a beautiful audience. I can see the beautiful smiles on people sitting here. So all such words, basically the powerful words make a good impression on the audience. They feel motivated. They feel more connected with you. And that's how you can connect with the audience. Next is create a crowd pleasing speech. So how to create it? If anyone wants to answer on the chat? How to create a pleasing speech? Anyone wish to answer this particular question? Create a powerful, pleasing speech. How to do it?
Your slideshow has disappeared.
No, I have stopped it actually. I want the answers so that I can show them and I can connect. So if we talk about pleasing speech, if we talk about creating an impactful speech, how is it actually possible? Using understandable words, okay. Involve public in conversation, okay. Use proper intonations, very nice. This is one of the perfect answer actually. But intonations is more of a work of voice modulation. I'm talking about how to create a good speech, how to create an impactful speech here. Real life scenarios are Jenny. I am really happy that you have used this particular thing, real life scenarios. Whenever we are writing speech, it's very important to use indirect and direct references. Use relatable story. Very nice. So this is the major section which plays an important role while creating a speech. So whenever you are writing a speech, no, write it for the ears. Do not write it for yourself. And how do you write it for ears? By using indirect references, by using few stories, like the way I use an elephant here. You can use anyone, your relatives, yourself. You can just use indirect references and connect with the audience while writing the script. Then emotional connect is created with the help of this only. Thank you very much. So many beautiful answers I can see here. Thank you very much. So this is how you create a speech. Whenever you write it for the audience. You don't write it for yourself. Use powerful words, use stories, use famous quotations, like failures are the building block for success. So this is one of the famous lines which you can use. So use such quotations to connect with the audience while writing the script. Another is effective pauses. Whenever we are on stage, whenever we are in front of audience, it becomes really important to take a proper pause here. It's not important to keep on speaking. No, take a proper pause. Let the audience grab the information which you are delivering right now. Like the way I stopped the screen, I waited for your question. So that's a way I have created a pause here. Pause has its own beauty, which you have to do while delivering a speech. Another is avoid using slangs. I've seen a lot of people on stage, they feel very comfortable and start using slangs. Ignore it. A lot of words, slang doesn't mean that they're using some wrong words, but um, majorly, yeah, you know, I know, these are also considered as slangs. It happens when you don't have a good information in hand. You must have seen a lot of people, they go in front of audience, they start speaking, you know, you must be knowing, I know, you know. So all such information, all such things happens when you don't have a good knowledge with you, when you don't have good words with you, and you're not clear in your head. So whenever you are speaking, take a deep breath and then start speaking. So this slang section will disappear automatically. When your head is clear and you know exactly what you have to talk to, everything becomes smooth. Last but not the least, sound enthusiastic and confident, like the way the other person said and they have answered. So sound enthusiastic and confident. That's the only way which you will automatically influence people. So they will see that you are confident in your data, they will see you are confident in your speech, and they will connect automatically. So these are few important tips and tricks which I have shared for voice modulation. We just have 1 hour, so I'm just sharing basic tips. This is a major important section which we cover while training everyone for public speaking. So when I was getting trained at University of Washington, I've done my specialization from there. So what they used to do, they used to have a paper in hand for intonations, and we used to practice the same thing again and again for at least 10 days. Like this, a person asks, no, how can I make the word powerful? How can I make my speech powerful? This is the only way. You need to practice. It's not important to get new data. You can pick up any article from newspaper. You can play around with the words which are being mentioned on the newspaper. You can use it as intonations. By speaking it loudly, you get to know how you are speaking, and you can play around with the voice, your pitch, your tone. This particular a paragraph can also help you in making a good script altogether. You will get a lot of words from that paragraph and you can use it somewhere else. So that's how it works. Now quiz time. So this is the question: when giving presentation in front of an audience, you should do all of the following except. I'm waiting for the answer here. There are 4 options: speak loud and clear, provide handouts if needed, dress professionally, look at the screen, and not the audience. What do you think is the wrong answer here? D. Okay. Look at the screen and not audience. So I think my KBC has a clear question and everyone has answered the right one here. Perfect. You are a smart bunch of people. I'm glad to be a part of this webinar here. So everyone has answered D. Why? Because whenever you are giving a presentation and you are just looking at the screen, that creates a barrier in connecting with the audience. Everyone wants attention. So when we are not giving the attention properly, it creates a mess. Let's move to the other slide. Another is pamphlet. Okay. How many people has a question that how to create a script, how to start, how to end, what all to insert? If I want to be a good public speaker, then what kind of scripting I should do? So there must be a lot of questions in your head that if I want to speak, then what kind of script will work? What kind of formal and informal script will work? So all such questions I'm going to be answering with the help of a professional framework that's called PAM. So let's discuss this thing now. Whenever you are deciding the script, whenever you're deciding the audience in front of which you have to speak, there is a tip which will always help you in creating a good script. Believe me, for an informal or formal, any kind of speech that's going to work. Wherever communication is needed, it will help. Either it's verbal, either it's written communication. So while creating a presentation also you can use it. And while creating a speech, you can also use it. So PAM stands for purpose, audience, and message. So whenever you're trying to write a script, start it with the purpose. Whenever you are starting the speech, it has to be always full of information. It should be very clear what you are talking about. Like the way when we started the session, Maya particularly mentioned that this session is all about public speaking. So everyone out here, they understood that we will be talking about speaking skills, communication, public speaking, audience. So that's the way you have to also work while writing a script for your own audience. I'm talking about your audience. It can be 10 people, 1,000 people, 10 lakh people sitting in front of you. So the purpose of your speech has to be clear in the starting itself. That creates a clarity in the audience head. They feel more connected, they feel more motivated, and they will listen to you uh, with the 100% attention. Another is audience. So like the way I said, write for your audience, not for your own self. So when you write something, you are a professional bunch of people, which I have got for this webinar. So what I have done, I have used few information plus a technical word that's called PAM framework. If I would have been taking this session with school students or colleges, I would have just used few pictures to make them understand. Maybe eye contact picture, maybe standing position. So that's how you have to decide what kind of audience you are getting. Now there will be question that we don't know what kind of audience will come. So in that generalized manner, use the generalized quotation. Do not use some technical words. Avoid this particular thing when you're not sure about the audience. Instead, write a generalized script so that it can connect with a child, with an adult, both of them all together. Now, last but not the least is message. Whenever we are writing a script, at the end of the session, most of the time people do uh, they don't they don't mention about what all they have covered in their speech. So that creates what should I say, it will create a breakage at the end of your session. You connected, people were very happy, they felt emotional with you, you had a great session, but at the end there's a drop. So it should not go like this. Graph should never go like this. Instead, the graph should be something like this. At the end also, it will go up and people feel more motivated so that next time when you come, they will always welcome you with open arms. So message has to be very clear. If I'm talking about this session, then at the end of the session, I'll talk about whatever I have covered in this whole session. Same way, your message has to be clear at the end. So this is a professional framework. If you have any question, please keep your questions handy. I'll take it at the end of the session. Okay. Now this slide, if you see, that's one of the slides which we create. With this session, I'm trying to cover verbal, non-verbal, and written all together. So verbal we have discussed. Non-verbal is about your gestures, your postures, your eye contact. Eye contact should not be very longer. It can be few seconds. When we talk about gestures, it has to be connected with your words. It should not happen that you're using only gestures like this. This creates a distraction for the audience. No need to do much of it, but at least use your gestures at few moments so that people can connect with your body as well. Smile in between. So this is also a gesture which you are putting in. So that's a part of non-verbal communication. Let's talk about written communication. Now, student must be having a lot of meeting where you have to present a presentation in front of audience, maybe your seniors, maybe a large group of people. So you have to work on your presentation skill as well. So I haven't made much changes, but I have just created a drop to make you feel the difference between a professional and non-professional presentation skill. Because you can't say that I'm a good speaker, but my presentation won't speak for you. So when we talk about your presentation, it includes your PPT also, your dresses also, your overall appearance also, and most important, your words as well. So this presentation, if you see the 4 sections, I haven't used anything. I'm just using few shapes, and I've just used few images and created a background and pasted everything. But that gives a much more professional look as compared to this one. See this one. This is a plain slides. So we'll be covering 4 important sections of public speaking. Now here comes the important part. If you have any question, I can take it for 5 minutes. Kindly start typing on the question section. I'll just start reading. If any questions. I'm always confused how to begin the communication on video calls. Okay, whenever we are talking about video calls, like the way you start in the real world, it doesn't work like that, but use less of gestures, hand movements, and play around with words more instead of your gestures. And you can start with some powerful explanation, a small idea about your own self, or you can use indirect reference stories also. That's how you connect with audience. Okay, video I have stopped right now. I'm just sharing my screen. I'm just talking right now. Yes, I agree. Ultimately, communication is key, right? If you have poor communication, public speaking skills, it's a huge challenge. How to improve our speech pause? Okay. What I'll do, after this session, I'll ask Jyotsna or Mia to send a single paragraph, a random paragraph, or you can also pick it up from any English book, your kids' English book or anything. So you need to keep on practicing that. And whenever you are using the full stop, exclamation marks, or anything, you have to take a pause. Record it, then again listen to it, and then again record it. So you have to do this activity for at least 5 times. Same paragraph, same way, but at least you have to record it for 5 times. You have to go through it. After the 5th time, you will see that a lot of improvement is already there in you. You will understand that where all you are not taking pauses properly. So that's the activity which can help you in improving this thing. How shall I continue on the topic where I forget about what to be spoken next? Okay. So for this, take a handout. Like I have a small paper, which I usually keep it with myself. I mention each and every point there, small section pinpointers. And whenever I go to stage, whenever I have to address the audience, I keep that page with me. So if by chance I'm forgetting something, I see that page slightly and then just start the section again. How can I improve my vocabulary? Okay, that can be done with the help of dictionary, or that can be done with the help of games, which I was talking about in the starting. So there are few games in Play Store and iOS system. So you can go through it, and these games actually help you in learning few words. Or Kahoot is an application which can be used for this purpose. That's professionally done, and a lot of professional words are already present in Kahoot. What to do if we are stuck in between, running out of words and feel blank? Okay, that's the section which I was talking about. Take the page along with you, a small chit sort of thing with you, and in that you can mention few bullet points that will help you in addressing and taking care of this kind of section. How to be confident while speaking? Okay, that will come with time. And for when I talk about confidence, you have to do a lot of mirror work in front of you. That's an activity which we know about it, but we are not practicing. So you have to stand in front of the camera, or you can stand in front of the mirror. You have to talk to yourself as much as you can. Read as much as you can and apply in front of camera. That's the only way you will gain a lot of confidence. If you're not comfortable in seeing yourself and speaking, then you will never be confident in front of speaking to the audience. So you need to work on this thing. So 4 sections which I have to explain here. I'm starting here. So there are 4 parts: think, script, deliver. We're going to be discussing it. How to think, what to write, and how to deliver. So all such sections will be covered in the first part. Another is leadership is the skill. So how to use this key leadership, how to use it in your public speaking, that we're going to be discussing. Third is use your audience. Okay, that sounds a bit different, but yes, whenever you are talking about a good public speaker, they use their audience for their own self to create an impression, to create a positive impression at the end of the session. And last but not the least, impactful opening and closing. So we'll be discussing it in more detail now. If we talk about think, script, and deliver, there are few sections which needs to be taken care of. First is ideas and innovation. So when we are thinking, okay, imagine you have a session tomorrow on AI. Okay, so you have to come up with the ideas. You can come up with the innovations. You can use some important quotations from Steve Jobs or maybe anyone from the technical field, and you can use the ideas, imagine it in your head, use the ideas and innovations, what has been done, make a whole writing and then deliver. That's a part of thinking, where you know the topic which you have to talk about, you gather all the information, think about how can be delivered. So that's a part of thinking here. Now script, whatever you are thinking, the first step is write it down. It's not important to write it in a sequence, just write it down. And how to write it down, make it on the Excel sheet, which I usually do it, and it's really helpful actually. So you can either write it on the Excel sheet, or if you're not used to it, use notes on your phone. Just keep on typing whatever is coming in your head and then give a shape afterwards. And when we talk about delivering it, it has to be more of practice than it has to do with the script. Whatever you are writing, everything you will forget on stage, frankly. You will see the audience, you will see the smiling face, you can see the eyes looking at you, and then you will be confused and you will forget at least half of it. Everyone do it. It's not that you are the only one who is facing such problem. I also do it. You forget whatever you are writing. So it's very important that you practice, you speak it 1,000 times. I'm just like practically, I'm just telling you, if you have a presentation, at least practice it for 3 to 4 times before delivering it. In this way, at least you'll be able to deliver 70% of your data. I won't say 100% because 100% doesn't exist. When you see the audience, when you see the people smiling at you, you forget a lot of things. Next. Next is leadership is a skill, is the key. So when we talk about being a good leader, your managers, the person who is on stage, the person who is speaking well, that person holds a very important section that's called leadership. And how it start with interpersonal skill, where you connect with a person, where you understand how human psychology works. So that's a part of interpersonal skill which you focus on. Determine your goal. Now, being a speaker, my goal is to influence 589 people who are present in this session. So that's the part of the goal which you have to take care of. Whenever you are delivering something, write your goal on the top of your page. Okay. So if you're going for a speech, just write your goal at the top and then start your speech. That will help you in defining your goal properly. That will help you in taking the speech in a positive manner and in a proper aligned manner. Third section is give credit and communicate clearly. So if I talk about giving credit and communicate clearly, credit is the audience. My credit will be you guys, because you are replying to each and every questions which I am asking you. So that's the credit which I am giving right now. I'm giving thank you for answering. So these are the credits which you give to your audience. That way the audience feel connected, they feel positive, they want to see you, they want to listen to you, and communicate it clearly. And last but not the least, so show empathy and praise fellow. Okay. Now, most of the people think that empathy means sitting with them, wasting their time, talking to them, understanding what happens. But here, when we talk about audience, you don't know each and every one present in the room. There may be few people whom you know, there may be few people whom you don't know. So empathy can be showed in a generalized manner as well. Any random person you feel that they're entering the room and you saw them entering the room with a smile, that's also an empathy. You can mention it and that's a part of empathy. So you can do that also. So this is the leadership which should be taken care of. Now let's talk about important section, that's use your audience. So audience plays an important role. Everything is audience. We call it as Bhagwan. Like here, audience is considered as God. For us, being a public speaker, we consider them like this. If an audience takes something from you to their place, that means your speech was really impactful. Your speech was really powerful. So how can you do it? How can you use your audience? By telling a story and compliment. You can use a story like the way I used elephant. You can use yours. Just tell them the story and then compliment them. Make your audience connect with the help of some motivational quotation, some motivational line, or any story you want to connect to motivate them or inspire them. Like Sandeep Maheshwari, Vivek Bindra, whenever they enter the stage, they always talk about any random story that helps the audience in getting motivated before starting the session. That's how you connect with the audience on the emotional level. So if you want the audience to be with you throughout, you need to inspire and motivate. Third is walk towards your audience. Okay, this is not possible every time. Sometimes you are stuck somewhere and you can't move from your position. In that way, you can just move to your left or right, or just keep on changing your position after every few seconds. That helps the person in getting attention from you as well. If you are moving towards left, the people on the left will connect to you. If you're moving towards the right, people on the right will also connect with you. And if you're standing in the middle, everyone will see you properly and they will connect with you. So walking towards your audience, if by chance you have the freedom, so walk towards the audience, in between the audience, try to connect with them, try to ask few questions and connect like that. And last but not the least, smile and have fun. So if I talk about smile, it plays a very important role. Positivity is given with the help of smile, and people enjoy your speech. So that's a part of a good public speaker. Next. Now I hope everyone can see me and internet works fine. Okay. So the last section here in today's one is impactful opening and closing. When we talk about opening and closing, that's the most important section for a public speaker. If your opening is not strong, you will lose the audience. And if your closing is not strong, again, you will lose the audience. You will not get the same audience next time. So for creating a good opening and closing, few important sections has been mentioned here, which I want to deliver. Don't stay for too long in opening. If you start the opening section and you keep on talking about the starting, how you started, about yourself, about a story, and it turns out to be, it takes 10 to 15 minutes, audience start losing their patience. They start losing the positivity in the speaker. So first thing is keep your opening short. You can use some important powerful words to start your opening and then wind it up nicely and then start the other section. Do not focus more on opening. It has to be powerful, but it has to be a bit short so that people can connect it. Next is like the speech should not be like self-contained, or you should have a clincher last line. If I say, I use a line, uh, when you listen, you learn. So this kind of line actually creates a clincher. You get the attention automatically from the audience. They understand what you're talking about and you get the attention directly. Third is housekeeping comments, quotations, joke, notable accomplishments, everything you can use. You can use stories, you can use quizzes, or even you can use games. If you are doing it off-site, we are doing an on-site webinar right now. If I will have been there, I will have made you do something like stand on your seats, move towards each other, or play some games. So games are also a part which will help you in making your whole speech or connecting with the audience beautiful. Last but not the least, writing for the ears, for the closing. So if we talk about closing the whole scripting part, you need to focus more on scripting. So we have focused on like how to write script. You have to write the starting PAM. If you remember, we have discussed about PAM framework. So PAM is purpose, audience, and message. So whenever you are writing something, focus on PAM. That will help you in creating a good speech, and you will be able to write for ears. Okay. Now we have few minutes. I have to take few questions as well. So this is a question which I have put on in the starting itself, that use one word to describe yourself. Now, what you have to do, you have to prepare a small elevator pitch. Like if I talk about being ambitious, I can use some quotation and say, I'm an ambitious girl with a lot of dreams in head. So that kind of thing you can use, and you have to write at least 5 lines for that. Take 2 minutes, write a pitch for yourself. Use the word which you have mentioned in the starting of the session, and then we will take the questions.
Thank you so much for your time, Damini, and thank you to all the audience who've stayed back with us. I hope you really enjoyed the session and you will be able to apply. Thank you and have a good weekend ahead.